Hello, and coming to you from tonight from my hotel in Adelaide. I'm not sure if you can see the curtains, but they are quite sparkly, so it's a little bit Studio 54 in here, a little bit 70s, a little bit Studio 54, but here I am. So I arrived in Adelaide this afternoon, and I'm here because the Specialized women's racing team that I sponsor, they're here racing an international race. So I've come over to support them for a couple of days and hand out bottles, do some washing, do some cooking, do anything that's needed to help out the team. It's all part of my sponsorship, is just, getting to spend some time with them as well as they develop their careers in cycling. And to be honest, at this race, there's some big international stars also racing, so I get to have a couple little fangirl moments. So I'm in Adelaide and I am coming to you from my hotel room. As glamorous as you can see it is, only kidding. And I wanted to make sure I still jumped on tonight and remembered the time difference, because it's half an hour behind here. And tonight's topic, I just wanted to give you a little bit of knowledge about what your responsibilities are when you're buying just before settlement. So what that means is we are just about to go ahead and settle on a property purchase. So you're buying a property, you're just about to settle. What is it that you've got to do? Okay, so this is when you're buying. What is it that you've got to do? So first of all, you're the one who arranges to put all the services into your name. So electricity, gas, telephone, you have to put all of those into your name. That's your job. Your conveyancer and solicitor can't go ahead and do that for you. That's something, for privacy reasons, only you can do it. So when should you do that? Honestly, I think you should ring those companies and do it about a week before settlement. You just ring them, you say, it's no different to when you're renting. You ring them, you say, from this date, I want to have electricity, gas, telephone in my name from this date. Now, what is also a really good idea is if you want to actually get electricity and gas on the day before settlement. Why? Because when you go do your pre-purchase inspection with the real estate agent, then the electricity and gas will be turned on and you can actually make sure that all the appliances are working. So you get your pre-purchase inspection, which is the number 2 task I'm getting to that you have to do, is go out to the property and do an inspection. You want to make sure you've got the electricity and gas on so that you can go and make sure the air conditioning's working, the oven's working, and all of those things, just to make sure that there's no nasty surprises when you move in. You want to really get in there, enjoy it, and not have any surprises. So electricity, gas, you need to do. Now, the reason you don't do water and rates, your conveyancer will organise to have water and rates transferred into your property, and that's because they are debts that run with the property. So electricity, gas, telephone, they're personal debts. They're not debts that run with the property. So that's why your conveyancer doesn't have anything to do with them. That's why you have to do them. But your rates and water, they're debts that run with the property. So let's just break that down. What does that mean? If the owner of the property owes $5,000 on gas, that's going to make no difference to you if you're buying a property. But if they owed $5,000 on rates, that's going to make a big difference to you. So that's why your conveyancer does the rates and water. Hi Layla, Tim, Emma, Angela, thank you for jumping on. I'm in my motel room in Adelaide tonight. And with water and rates, council doesn't issue notices Emma, I was just thinking, perfect timing, as I have been on my laptop, which is just here, actually working for you tonight. And we're talking about settlement and who has to do what. So Emma, we've already spoken about this, but for everyone else, you need to make sure you've got electricity, gas, telephone in your names ready for settlement. So do it a day before, ring them up a week before. So ring them up now and make sure that you've got them turned on, ready, so that when you do your pre-purchase inspection, you can make sure that everything's working. And water and rates, that's your conveyancer's responsibility to have transferred into your name. And it's also our responsibility to make sure that anything outstanding has been paid and anything that's going to be payable in the future, there has been adjustments made on a pro rata basis. Now that sounds a little bit mumbo jumbo, but what it basically means is water is often charged in arrears. So if you move in on the 1st of January, it may be that the water meter hasn't been read for 30 days. So what we do is we work out how much water the vendor has been using per day, take it off the purchase price. Now that gets a little bit confusing. That is not your job. Your job is just to remember you do the personal debts, electricity, gas, telephone. We do water and rates, and we let council know of the change of ownership as well. That's all of our job. Council then will contact you after settlement and touch base with you. So you don't need to worry about that. Your other two really important jobs are to make sure you do a pre-purchase inspection of the property. Now, I did a Facebook Live on this a couple of months ago about some of the really big pitfalls when people don't do a pre-purchase inspection of what can go wrong. So go back and watch that if you need to, or shoot me an email and I'll send you the link to it, because I did quite an in-depth one and spoke about some crazy instances that can happen if you haven't done a pre-purchase inspection. So that's your job, to organize that pre-purchase inspection. All you need to do is call your real estate agent, book a time with them. They meet you there. It takes half an hour. You walk through the property and it's done. It gives you real peace of mind that when you settle, you know everything's all okay. You can walk straight in, pop that bottle of champagne after settlement, and there's no issues there. The last thing that's your responsibility to do. Hi, Matt. Thanks for jumping on. The last thing that's your responsibility to do just before settlement is get the property insured. Sometimes purchasers get so excited about moving in, it's really easy to forget that you've got to actually have your insurance in place, because the second settlement has gone through, it's your responsibility for the property. All risk is passed to you. Now, most people were going to be moving from one place into another place, but don't worry. Most insurance companies will allow you to have a bit of a week's grace on both properties so that you can have both properties insured and your contents insured on both. So there's really 3 things that you need to remember to do. And of course your conveyance is going to remind you, but it really helps to just, you know, there's so much going on before you're about to move into a property. You're busting at the seams, you're excited, you're packing, you know, you're organizing time off. But it's those 3 things that are crucial. The services, the personal services. So we've got electricity, gas, telephone, your pre-purchase inspection, and insurance. Doing those 3 things before settlement will make sure that you have a super smooth transaction, no nasty surprises on the day, and you can move in. You can pop that bottle of champagne and celebrate the great Australian dream of owning your new home. So thank you for joining me from my Studio 54 hotel room in Adelaide. I love doing these confessions of conveyancer and just giving you all a little bit of knowledge. You can never know too much. Get out there and start learning. Now, my confession for tonight is this is the first time I've ever been to Adelaide without bringing a bike. I have been to Adelaide many Januaries during the tour down under, and this is the first time I've never brought a bike. And it really dawned on me when I was on the plane that this, you know, I didn't bring a bike, and I deliberately didn't because I'm only here for a few days and I'm busy working, but I had a moment of, oh my gosh, I don't have a bike, and I always bring a bike to the tour down under. But you know what? It's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I am going to change the world in other ways and bring happiness into my time while I'm here in many other ways. And I'll be so busy I won't notice, which is why I didn't bring it anyway. So thank you for joining me. I'm now going to find something to eat. I've got a little bit more work to do. I am so glad. If you haven't checked my Instagram stories tonight, jump on there and have a little laugh and see what I had to do to come up with my tripod setup. At the moment, I have the tripod on top of a bin, on top of a Bible, and then the tripod to make sure that I could get it high enough. Hi, Matt, Kaylee, Troy, Colette, thanks for jumping in. Watch the replay. We spoke a little bit about what you need to do if you're a purchaser just before settlement. Don't get caught up in the hype and forget those things, yeah? Have an amazing Wednesday. I'll be checking in on Instagram stories a lot the next couple of days and showing you behind the scenes of what an international race is all about, what it's all about, my support of this team and women that are trying to get into European teams, that we have 2 Olympians on my team that I support. So you'll see a lot of them as well. Obviously coming into 2020 next year, it's a really exciting time for them and really important. So high stress for me, handing out bottles, doing washing, cooking food, you name it, I am here to do it. Good night from Adelaide, and I'll see you next week.